Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Friday, September 19th, 2025. Now, on the Luigi Mangione front, today his filings are due in the federal case about why the death penalty should not apply. This comes days after, in state court, Judge Caro said that the terrorism charge does not apply. So we're looking for that one. We're also looking for a Sean Combs' final sentencing submission, what he wants. I think he's going to want time served, but it should be lengthy, and it should be, we will cover it. Let's put it that way. What else can we say? Here's a kind of legal schmiegel case. There's a case against Fat Joe, the rapper, by a guy called Dixon. And then Fat Joe sued Dixon for defamation, round and round. Dixon has a lawyer called Blackburn that's represented a lot of plaintiffs, including against Sean Combs and others. He put in a hot filing that as soon as we read it, we highlighted as possible AI. It just didn't make any sense. And it had some cases that don't exist. So, well, Fat Joe's lawyers, I believe from Reed Smith, they're going for the jugular. They're asking for sanctions, and they've done the research to say it's happened before, and it's not AI. So it'll be interesting to see how that one's. That's a mixture of hype, rap, sex, abuse, allegation case, and AI. So there's that. In other hype news, and connecting two worlds, Alexandra Shapiro, appellate counsel, not only for SBF, but for Diddy, has signed up for Team Baldoni in the Lively Baldoni litigation. Bring it on, bring it on. At a higher level, at least judicially. As we had predicted, yesterday the administration filed with the Supreme Court an appeal of the injunction that's keeping Lisa Cook on the Federal Reserve Board. They've asked actually for sort of a one-judge signature by John Roberts to eliminate the stay and take her off the board. Then it'll be considered by maybe he'll hold off, since they didn't get her out by the FOMC meeting, at which Stephen Moran asked for a full half point, and Jay Powell said rather archly that there was virtually no support for that, meaning just one guy. Will there be two? Who knows? Our interest in the Federal Reserve Board is in their regulation of banks, often misregulation. Although, the FDIC is trying to eliminate all public notice. But yesterday we published, and I believe first and possibly only so far, the questions that the Federal Reserve has asked Pinnacle Bank of Nashville. They involve fair lending, which was the basis on which that merger has been protested. So there is that. Hang on, we've got a little... I'm going to actually pause it. Okay, a little pause for the cause to eliminate noise pollution. PNC has applied. This is another big merger. They applied 8 days after they announced it. Everything's moving fast. But they've tried to withhold the list of litigation and investigations against them. This would include a current admission of theirs of leaking of personal identifying information. They disclosed it to Massachusetts. There must be a special law up there requiring that. But they somehow think it's confidential at the federal level. We have submitted a FOIA request. And there's that. Today we'll be live tweeting not only the Sudan genocide BNP case, but also the sentencing of the second of two defendants in the Chinese fentanyl case of Hubei Amarval. And what connects these two? You got it. The United Nations. Failed on both fronts. I've been in Darfur, believe it or not. I covered the UN before Antonio Guterres, for his own corrupt reasons, had Inner City Press banned for exposing his financial links to the China Energy Fund Committee. But when I was there, the head guy in Darfur, it was the UN AU mission called UNAMID. So in fairness, it was also AU corruption. There was a guy called Gambari. He's a Nigerian politician. I talked to him a lot of times, living in an enormous mansion on huge pasha-like cushions. And while the UN was accomplishing nothing, in fact, they're still talking about it, but they had a chance in Sudan and they did nothing. So there's that. And they've also, on the issue of forget Guterres' capture by China. UNODC, the UN Office of Drugs and Crime, is an absolute shambles. In fact, their head person is being ousted, but she's still getting paid to work remotely. We've asked questions about it, and they haven't answered it. But, okay, if this is the last vlog of the week, have a good weekend. To be continued.